Good morning, guys. I'm going to show you how to make a quick keychain that would be a great gift for the teachers in your life, or maybe even a gift tag. This can all be done in the creator space on Toybox. So I just wanted to show you how to do this. Alright, so first I'm in Toybox.com. I'm going to go to my toys. And I'm going to go to create. Actually, first I want to choose which toy box I'm going to use. I have the Comet, I have Alpha 2, I have Alpha 1. I'm just going to choose thing 1, which is an Alpha. I think that's my Alpha 2. I'm doing that so I get an idea of how big I can make this. Alright, I'm going to go to create, and I'm going to go to build. So this is showing me that I've got the Alpha workspace. So this is called your workspace. So I can do a keychain a bunch of different ways. I could do a square background. I could do circle background. Anything I like there. I'm just going to use the text here first. And I'm going to type in my name. I'm Robin. And I'm going to choose Sophia because I think that's a really pretty font. And I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that. Now, I do want to tell you about, I am using a PC. I am a mouse user, a PC user. I've got a laptop here. If you're trying to do this on a tablet or something like that, then you'll have to figure out the motions on your own. I find that a mouse is really easy to design with. I've been designing for several years now. I have used Tinkercad quite a bit. I love that. I also love the new creator space here. So I'm using my left mouse to drag my view. The right mouse drags my view side to side, up and down. So this is my right mouse click. I'm just holding it down and dragging. Left is doing this. And the center, there's a scrolly thing in the center of my mouse. That is going to zoom in and out. So between the three of those things, I can get a really good view of what's happening. So left mouse, right mouse, scrolly thing. I think it's called scroll wheel, not scrolly thing. Okay, I am going to decide how big I want this. I chose a square. You know what? Let's try a square and see how that goes. Now, this workspace area for the Toybox Alpha is, I never design anything more than 72 millimeters. So each one of these is a centimeter, which of course is 10 millimeters. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then there's, you could count however many that is, but let me just tell you, 72 works really great for most toy boxes. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring this out a little ways, I don't know, 50, maybe 60, something like that. See how it shows me? These handles, the little handles on the side, go side to side. This one here is the height. I really only need about 2 millimeters in height on that. And this one is my depth. So, I don't know, 20 millimeters, nice round number. Let's just see how that fits. If I need to get rid of this, the properties box here to get it out of my way, I could just X on it there. I'm going to go ahead and say that looks about right, maybe how I want it to be. So I really want my lettering to be bigger. So a couple ways I can do that. I can actually just do up and down, which is not really what I need at the moment. I could go one direction this way, also not really what I want to do. And by the way, if you're using a keyboard, you can do Control Z to undo anything you want to do. It's also right here. If you hover a little bit, you'll see undo. So anytime you make a mistake, just hit undo and it'll go back as many times as you hit undo. I would like to actually, I'm going to edit this and I want to hit transform here. I'm going to do my uniform scale. So when I do that, see how whenever I bring that up and down, it makes it proportional, so it's uniform all over. Alright, so I'm going to do uniform scale and get it on there. That looks pretty good. I love it whenever the fonts are hanging off a little bit, but you got to be really careful. See how I'm going to have a little problem right here? Probably that probably is going to manage to get, that'll probably fall off at some point if I do that. So I can actually make this bigger. I can kind of do whatever I want. I would love it if I felt comfortable leaving it hanging out there, because I think that's really kind of cool looking. I could make it kind of like this and kind of like that, but I just know from experience that would just chop off, that would fall off at some point, so I'm not going to do that. I can bevel this, so back up here in my edit screen with my pencil, I can bevel. That means that it's going to take the corners. See how the corners are beveling? I could go all the way into an oval if I want to, or I could just do a teeny tiny little bevel on those corners. I can do that. The bevel segments is how smooth that bevel is. So the more segments you have, the smoother that bevel is going to look. So I could do that. I probably would do that. Now I will tell you, when you start beveling, okay, let's say I bevel this, and now I try to create this, it's going to tell me I need supports. So let me show you what that means. So underneath, if you look, you'll see, let me zoom in so you can see better. Whoops. See underneath how it's hanging up in the air? If you think about how your printer prints, it prints layers. It can't print stuff that's just hanging out in the air like that. It just can't. So there is a way we could, if we really want this shape and we really want it to print, there is a way we could do that. We could make it taller. And see, we still have some problem under here where it's not gonna, there's certain angles which it would print fine and certain angles which it wouldn't, but we can split that. So over here on the left, there's a split, and I can actually, so that's split, and I can keep the top, see right here, and hit done there. And now that is perfectly flat on the bottom. Now it's not going to print up here in the air, so if I hit create, it's going to be like, are you kidding? You can't print that because it's just hanging up in the air. So that's what this button right here, snap to build plate, that takes it down to the build plate, which is your surface. So now it's perfectly flat, so that would print just fine. So if I told it to print, it's not going to give me my error messages anymore. All right, it's thinking about it. That would take 29 minutes just to give it. Now, I'm like, oh no, what happened? I can go back over here to my edit, and that'll take me right back in where I was. Okay, I think that's fine, but I'm going to try also the cylinder here. So to delete a piece, I just hit delete on my keyboard. I don't know what you do on the oh, that's interesting. When I dragged, it brought two of them. That's cool. I don't know what you do with your tablet, so I apologize. I just don't design on a tablet. It's just not my thing. All right, I'm going to create, let's see. Whoops, I want that to sit on my work surface. Oh, I accidentally turned it just a little. See how I turned it? I can undo either here or Control Z on my keyboard until it's back to normal. So I accidentally rotated it. I'm going to get rid of that so I can see. I'm going to bring this on out, and I'm going to make it tall. I think this might look really fun. Let's see. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to create it. Oh yeah, I like that. Right here I've got a hole. I'm going to kind of get rid of that hole, so let me move it up just a little. And by the way, when you get to be more of a power user, there's a lot of, here in your edit, when you go into transform, you can do a lot of interesting things here with grounding and uniform scaling and all that stuff. So don't be afraid to play. You can go in here with your objects and all that. So don't be afraid to play with that. Okay, that looks pretty good, except it's really tall. So I think right about there looks good. I don't need it to be that tall, that's for sure. So having done this, having designed for a really long time, that first piece here would about 2 millimeters. So if I do 2 and then a dot and enter, that brings that down to 2 millimeters high. And if I click on my lettering and say 4 millimeters high, whoops, I accidentally had that all over scaling in place. So I'm going to Control Z, and I'm going to go in my transform and turn off that uniform scaling because I just want the height. All right, so not 2, sorry, 4 millimeters high. These are pretty standard heights that work really well for something like this keychain. I'm going to bring a ring over. The ring happens to be a really good size for a ring as it is for a keychain. I'm going to center that a little more. And I want that to be also 2 millimeters high, just like the background. I'm going to move him out just a little. I could do that. I think I'm going to leave it right about there. Okay. Now, if I want to see how big my keychain is all together, I can do Control A, which is all. And whenever I click on my little measurement button there, it tells me that's 68 millimeters. So 68 millimeters is about perfect for what I want. If I did want to change it right now, I could go into, let's see, my objects, and I could actually do them all together, and I could resize, but then I would need to resize each height. I think I'll just stick with 68. That looks good to me. You can see how it would look on the Alpha Toybox. And I think I'm done, so I'm going to hit build. And it will tell me how long it's going to take and all that. Now, I didn't choose a different setting. I just let it do the normal setting. So let me go back into edit and show you that. In build, you do have a difference for quality, balanced, or fast. It really depends. I usually just go for balanced because I'm not really big into super great quality, but I usually also kind of check to see how long it's going to take. So if I go for quality and I build, then let's see how long that would take. So that's 18 minutes. And if I go into build and go to fast, I can see how long that would take. And that's only 9 minutes. So you can choose, is this something you're trying to get done on the way to school this morning, or anywhere in between? So I'm just going to choose balanced because for the purposes of today, that's going to be just fine. And I'm going to hit create again. And if I want to save this so that I can print it again and again, the easiest way is to hit share. This actually will show up in my creations for a while, but if I want it to show up forever, then I'm going to click on that and it copies my link. And then I go into my notepad and I paste that link. So notepad is something you can find it just by doing notepad, and that's an app that's in your computer. That's an easy way to always be able to find that link, but you can also do it when it'll show up in your toys as well. All right, I'm going to print this in 2 colors, so I will come back and show you what happened. So here's the finished product. I think it turned out pretty great. I printed it in 2 colors on my Comet. As soon as it started printing the wording, I hit pause and then removed the filament and then inserted the new filament back in and finished it out. It's a little harder to get that perfectly on the Alpha model because you have to kind of guess when that's happening.
It's hard to see in there and see what's going on, but it can be done. Just watch the amount of time that's on your screen there, and if it doesn't work out, you can adjust the next one accordingly. You can also, of course, paint that with acrylic paint. That works out really great as well. I hope you guys have a wonderful day.